Ambassador Zethkar's crystalline fingers trembled as he held the holographic display, the light from humanity's response casting eerie shadows across his angular features. Around the circular chamber of the Galactic Council, representatives from 47 species sat in stunned silence, their various forms of breathing creating a symphony of disbelief. The message was simple. One word. But that single word had sent shockwaves through the most powerful governing body in the galaxy. They said what? Wheezed Counselor Erix, her gas bladders deflating in shock. The amphibious being's translator struggled to convey her incredulity. Zethkar cleared his throat, a sound like grinding glass. The human representative's exact response to our payment demand was... He paused, steeling himself. No. The chamber erupted. 47 different species began their versions of outraged chittering, roaring, and harmonic screeching. Only the deep thrumming of the void speakers remained constant, their massive forms vibrating with what might have been amusement. High Arbiter Colthax raised all 6 of his arms, demanding silence. The ancient being's shell gleamed under the chamber's lights as his voice boomed through universal translators. Order! There will be order! The cacophony gradually subsided. Ambassador Zethkar, please clarify the situation for those who may have missed the preliminary briefings. Zethkar's species had been dealing with humans for barely 3 standard years, but it felt like a lifetime. He activated the central hologram, displaying a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy's contested regions. As you know, the Scythian hegemony launched their expansion campaign 18 months ago. They conquered 12 systems before encountering human space. Red markers flashed across the display, showing the Scythian advance. Then, abruptly, the red stopped at a seemingly arbitrary line. The humans had exactly 4 colonies in the path of Scythian expansion. No major military installations. No strategic resources worth noting, and a combined population of barely 12 million beings. Zethkar manipulated the display, zooming in on the human territories. The Scythians expected to roll through human space in a matter of days. Counselor Vexhai, whose species had themselves fallen to the Scythians only months earlier, leaned forward on her perch. What happened? The humans fought back. A collective scoff rippled through the chamber. Fighting back was expected. Every species fought back. It was what happened after the fighting that mattered. No, honored counselors, you misunderstand. Zethkar's voice carried a weight that silenced the mockery. They didn't just resist. They didn't just delay the inevitable. They stopped the Scythians completely. The display shifted, showing tactical readouts that made seasoned military advisors lean forward in disbelief. In the first engagement at Kepler Station, a single human cruiser engaged a Scythian battle group. The expected outcome was the cruiser's destruction within minutes, perhaps taking one enemy vessel with it in a suicide run. Instead, prompted High Arbiter Colthax, the human cruiser disabled 4 Scythian dreadnoughts and captured 2 more before withdrawing, with minimal damage to itself. The silence that followed was deafening. Zethkar continued, his voice growing more strained with each revelation. At the Battle of New Geneva, 300 human fighters engaged a Scythian armada of over 2,000 vessels. The humans lost 37 fighters. The Scythians lost their entire fleet. Impossible, hissed Counselor Erix. No species in the galaxy has that kind of technological advantage over the Scythians. Their military doctrine has conquered half the outer rim. The humans didn't use superior technology, Zethkar replied quietly. They used superior tactics, superior coordination, and something our xenopsychologists are still struggling to understand. They call it spite. He activated another section of the display. When the Scythians destroyed the civilian colony on Harmony, killing 2.3 million humans, we expected the humans to negotiate, to seek terms, to accept their inevitable subjugation like every other species has done. The image showed the aftermath of Harmony, a once green world reduced to ash and glass. Instead, the humans did something unprecedented. Their entire species declared war. Not just their military, not just their government. Every single human civilian became a combatant. They converted cargo ships into missile platforms, turned luxury liners into troop carriers, and somehow managed to coordinate a war effort across dozens of systems without a single central command structure. Counselor Vex High's feathers ruffled uneasily. But surely the Scythians adapted, learned from their initial defeats? Zethkar's laugh was bitter. The Scythians tried everything. They sent infiltrators. The humans turned them. They attempted cyber warfare. Human AI systems are apparently so chaotic that Scythian logic viruses simply couldn't function. They even tried negotiating. And the human negotiators listened politely to the Scythian terms for surrender, thanked them for their time, and then transmitted the coordinates of every major Scythian military installation to their fleet commanders. They had been tracking Scythian movements for months, just waiting for them to reveal their positions. The High Arbiter's 6 arms gestured impatiently. This brings us to the current situation. The threat assessment? Zethkar took what his species considered a steadying breath. The Scythian hegemony no longer exists. The humans didn't just defeat them, they systematically dismantled their entire civilization, captured their shipyards, freed their slave worlds, and redistributed their resources to species they had previously conquered. In 18 months? In 18 months. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The Scythian hegemony had been expanding for over 2 centuries. They had seemed unstoppable. So, High Arbiter Kolthak said slowly, when we sent the humans our standard bill for Galactic Protection Services, we received a single-word response, Zethkar confirmed. No. And their reasoning? Zethkar activated one final holographic display. It showed the current galactic map, with human territories clearly marked. But now, instead of 4 small colonies, human space encompassed dozens of systems, freed worlds that had voluntarily joined the human sphere of influence, trading partners, who had switched allegiance from the Council to humanity, military alliances with species who had witnessed what humans could accomplish when properly motivated. They sent a follow-up message, Zethkar said quietly. It was longer than their initial response. 5 words, actually, which were, "Send us your protection bill." High Arbiter Kolthax looked around the chamber at his fellow counselors. Some seemed thoughtful, others appeared terrified. A few of the more militant species seemed almost hopeful. "I believe," the High Arbiter said finally, "we need to reconsider our approach to human relations." Ambassador Zethkar nodded grimly. In the space of 18 months, humanity had gone from being an insignificant border species to the most feared military power in the galaxy. And they had done it not through superior technology or ancient wisdom, but through something far more dangerous. They had done it by refusing to accept that defeat was inevitable. The word no had never carried so much weight.